Tulane has let me say that they could beat a team like a Georgia Tech. So give me Georgia Tech.
Juicy?
Yeah, give me Georgia Tech. I just, like Mike said, I mean, I knew Georgia Tech was going to win last week. I thought they were only going to win by like about 6 touchdowns, but I was impressed. They put 70. They dropped the 70 ball on Alcorn State. So I believe it's going to be. I don't think they're going to put up 70 points, but I think they're still going to win by at least 5, 6 touchdowns.
I'm making a bold prediction right here. Georgia Tech's going to win the ACC this year.
I don't think that's that bold, actually.
Everybody's been focusing on Florida State. Georgia Tech's going to win the ACC this year. That's who I got as my preseason pick to win the ACC. I think Georgia Tech will beat Tulane here. Well, I mean, everybody's looking at Florida State, though, Juicy. I mean, you got to think of that, too.
Yeah, but I got to wait. Because I got Georgia Tech, Florida State, Clemson. I think it's going to be those 3 teams.
Yeah, that's my 3 teams.
Until I get more into the season, I can't really pick that. But
I'm going to do it as a...
Clemson might be an underdog.
I'm going to say this before everybody else starts saying they picked Georgia Tech. You hear me live on the radio right now. Georgia Tech's going to win the ACC this year. Georgia Tech beats Tulane here.
I think Clemson's going to win the ACC, though.
Well, we'll see what happens here. I mean, they will. It's going to get decided. So, I mean, what you betting it right now, Juicy?
No, but I've said all along. I think Clemson's going to end up winning the ACC. It's going to be out of Clemson, Florida State, Georgia Tech.
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to skip 14 because we're going to pick them later on here.
Yeah, I know what team's that.
Number 13, UCLA versus UNLV. Mike Contra, who you got in this game?
Give me UCLA. Man, their quarterback was impressive. I was impressed with how he performed. I can't even remember his name because I didn't really much pay attention, but the stuff I did watch, he impressed me a lot. I got to give it UCLA.
Who you got, Juicy?
Yeah, give me UCLA because I was blown away with how well their quarterback played too, and I see him carrying that energy and playing into this week too. So go ahead and give me UCLA.
I think UCLA will beat UNLV. I don't think it's going to be much of a competition between the two. Based on how UCLA played last week, they did very well being able to beat Virginia. I mean, 34-16 was a good win for them. And I think the way this team's been playing here, you got to get the feeling that they're really starting to get together here. And I don't think UNLV will be able to do it. Now they got a good game with BYU and Arizona coming up. That's BYU's their 3rd game and Arizona's their 4th game, which that'll be like 2 weeks from now. They'll play Arizona, but their back end of their schedule is gonna be tough. Utah and USC, so we'll see what happens here. That's it. George Whitfield did really well last week, so that's their quarterback's name. So no, Josh Rosen. My bad. Josh Rosen. I read the wrong name. I was looking at a different line. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. But still, the biggest play of week 1 was BYU. That was nuts. That was nuts. All right. Now we move on to the next game here. And I'm currently scrolling down to see if I can... Yep, I got him here. Number 12, Clemson, playing against the Sunbelt team, Appalachian State. But Clemson's at home. Who you got, Mike?
I said Clemson, I think, is a good possibility to win the ACC this year. Appalachian State, I watched their game against Howard, and they kind of put a beat down on Howard, but that was kind of expected. I don't think I expected as much points, but I expected it. Gotta go to Clemson. I think Appalachian State could maybe handle them in the first quarter, but after that, I think it's all Clemson.
Who you got, Juicy?
Actually, I'm gonna go with Clemson. But yeah, Clemson ain't even gonna keep it close with Appalachian State. They gonna run away with it. Like Mike said, yeah,
Appalachian State did put a beat down on them, but that was kind of expected. I mean, it is Howard, and that's just what everybody expected. But Clemson's going to be way too much more for them.
Okay, I was wondering if you were done, Juicy, or not. So,
No, okay, not bad.
okay, yeah, it's all right. I think Clemson will win this game. I don't think Appalachian State's gonna have enough to beat them here. I mean, they did very well against Howard. Congratulations, they got their first win of the year. But I think they will lose to Clemson here. Clemson, I think they'll be about at least 3 touchdowns. I don't think be 79 with a chance of rain. So we'll see how it goes.
You're being kind of generous, huh?
Well, I am being generous, Juicy. I am being generous. You got a problem with me being generous here?
Because I'm going to be at least about 5 or 6 touchdowns.
No, I think that's a little too much there. I don't think they're going to beat them that bad. The most I would say is maybe 5. 3 to 5 range, but I'll go with 3 because 3 I think is a good number. I think Appalachian State will score points on Clemson. I think they will. I just think that way, so I think Clemson will win. Now, we move on from there. South Florida versus number 11, Florida State. Mike, who you got in this game?
Give me Florida State. I don't think South Florida's good enough. Ever since, I think it was B.J. Ryan, their quarterback, ever since he left, they really haven't been all that great of a team. So I got to go with Florida State.
Juicy?
I got to go with Florida State as well because I just don't see South Florida being the team they used to be without Ryans, like Mike said. So, I mean, even if Ryans was there, I still think Florida State would win, but go ahead and give me Florida State by about 4 touchdowns.
I kind of agree with you, Jared Juicy. I think they'll win by at least 4 touchdowns, Florida State. Don't think South Florida's going to have enough to be able to pull it off here. It's going to be on ESPN, so if you want to watch it, it's an early game, 10:30 in the morning. Oof.
Yeah.
That's a little early to start games, in my opinion, but, it's the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be starting at 11:30 where they at.
Yep, exactly. Well, I mean, that ain't too bad then. For us, it's 10:30, but yeah, give me Florida State to win this game. All right, next game is we got an SEC conference game. Woohoo!
Georgia and Vandy.
Yep, I was about to say that. Number 10 Georgia versus Vanderbilt. Mike Concho, who you got in this game?
Well, Vandy lost to I can't remember now.
Western Kentucky.
Vandy lost to West Kentucky. Now, granted, West Kentucky is a very good team this year. They still lost to West Kentucky, and they should never lost to them. But Georgia kind of ran over ULM, and they actually canceled the game within the fourth quarter, so the score probably been a lot worse. So I got to go with Georgia. Nick Chubb is just an outstanding running back. Give me Georgia.
Juicy.
Like Mike said, Vandy, yes, they did lose to Western Kentucky, and they are a good team. There's no way Vandy still should have lost to Western Kentucky. I still think they should have beat them by at least 7, maybe 14 points. But in Georgia, the way they did against ULM, they probably would have put up at least 2 more touchdowns against ULM had the game got canceled. So, and I think Georgia's like a 21-point favorite in this game, which I think is pretty generous. I think Georgia's just going to go and steamroll Vandy. It's probably going to be about the equivalent of another Georgia UL, like when they played ULM last week. I think it'll almost be the equivalent of that.
I think Georgia's going to win this game. Nick Chubb is too good of a running back for Vanderbilt to stop. He might actually win the Heisman this year. He is a Heisman contender. This has been talked about before, so, we're kind of beating around the bush with that. What?
It makes that Georgia-Alabama game in a couple weeks pretty interesting.
Yeah, it does. If Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb, that'd be a very good running back comparison to go against. So I think Georgia's going to beat Vanderbilt. I don't think it's going to be enough for Vandy to do anything. Like y'all both said, Western Kentucky beat Vanderbilt, so that kind of throws everything that Vandy's going to do in the SEC out the window. So I got Georgia beating Vanderbilt in a convincing fashion. That give 4 touchdowns. I'm going to go a little bit more than the spread we'll cover. So, and the next game we got on the list here is The good old Fighting Irish is going to play against the Cavaliers of Virginia. Mike, who you got in this game?
Oh, I heard somebody, I think from ESPN say, man, is Texas that bad or is Notre Dame just that good? Notre Dame had a easy win against Texas. Yes, they may have fought in a couple of quarters, but at the end, Notre Dame kind of ran away with it. I got to go with Notre Dame. They really impressed me with their win over Texas. I thought Texas was going to get much more of a fight, but apparently they didn't, so I got to go with Notre Dame.
Juicy?
Is Texas that bad or Notre Dame that good? Well, I think it's kind of a little bit of both of them. I'm thinking Notre Dame, they had an easy win against Texas. Pretty convincingly. Now, I thought Texas would keep it a little bit closer, though. I thought it'd be at least maybe 17, 21 points. I didn't expect them to blow the steamroll Texas 38-30, but and Texas and Virginia to me are kind of about probably the equivalent level. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Notre Dame, but I don't think it's gonna be as much of a blowout, 17, 21 points. But like I said, I thought that like last week too. So
yeah. Well, I think Notre Dame's gonna win. I think they've had a very good win against Texas. Texas is entering their second year under, I think, Charlie Strong. Yep, that was his name. I was buzzing around my head. They are probably maybe 2 years away before they even get back to where they were even at, if they can even get back there, because Texas has been struggling for the last couple of years. I think Notre Dame will beat Virginia. I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. I'd say about a 21-point win for Notre Dame over Virginia. All right, we're starting to get close to that top five, guys. What y'all think of the picks so far?
Well, I think they're pretty solid, but I said the same thing last week, and they didn't do too hot.
I think I did pretty good last week.
I'm feeling confident about my picks.
A lot of the ranked teams won, and that's who I usually pick last week. But because no one knows how anybody is week one, so you're kind of throwing everything in the window and see if it's going to stick anywhere. So, Idaho versus number 8 USC. Mike, who you got in that game?
USC again having another easy opponent. That's something I've yet to wrap my head around. Is that all these big schools schedule a lot weaker opponents for a non-conference? Yes, they have
like Ohio State
schedule. But why they do that, I have no idea. They expect them to be able to get in the playoffs on a schedule like that. I gotta go USC. They kind of beat Arkansas State last week pretty bad, and Idaho's a team that's worse than Arkansas State in my opinion. So I gotta have to go USC with this, and it's gonna be a pretty bad game. I think Idaho should not. I don't think Idaho should really go to the game themselves. I think they should stay home.
Juicy, who you got?
I got USC in this one. Like Mike said, Idaho. I want to say is I don't think that USC should even rest their top player for this game because they probably won't beat him. Because I just assume that USC is going to march the ball at will up and down the field against Idaho. So go ahead and give me USC probably by at least 4 or 5 touchdowns, maybe more.
I think USC will beat Idaho. I don't think it's going to be even close at all. I'm going to go with Juicy on that one. 4 or 5 touchdowns. Easily a good spread there. I think the spread is for that game. Let me pull it up real quick here. Man, is it really that bad? It's 35 points. Would y'all take it, guys? Would y'all take it?
I would. I'd have to take it.
I probably would. I think it'd be a pretty good bet on your part if you want to bet that.
You could go either under or over just a little bit.
Yeah, I think USC will win.
I think go as high as 42 points for it myself.
Well, yeah. It's going to be very interesting, though, to see how all this will play out this week. Who knows? One of these games here might actually decide if you go be in the college football playoff or not. This is big things going on here. We seen how a lack of a conference championship game can hurt your chances last year.
Yep, it does hurt you. The Baylor.
Okay, Auburn is playing Jacksonville State, guys. Jacksonville State goes to Jordan-Hare Stadium. Who you got? You know what? I'm not going to go with Mike this time first. Let's go with Juicy first.